Well, today it's 10 degrees out in November in Minnesota, so we're at the Fagan Fighters World War II Air Museum. Thanks for following Phil, and let's enjoy our time today.
Loose with that. You came in here in the trainer hangar. You are right here, right now. I'll remind you again the important things in life, like where the restrooms are. Closest one is in the airport terminal from where you are right now, but also in the fighter hangar back behind our Higgins boat exhibit. There's restrooms in there too. But you are going to be in 4 main hangars today: the trainer hangar, fighter, bomber, and Navy hangar. Our 5th one is connected to the trainer hangar, and that's our shop, or the maintenance hangar. Right now, no activity going on in there. Guys have the day off today. But right up front in there, just temporarily in there, our SNJ/T6 is sitting in there, our advanced trainer. But farther back in there, we are working on another Mustang project, and you're going to see that in there. In fact, they just got the engine mounted on it this week. It's going to be another probably year and a half before that's ready to go, but we're actually doing that for somebody else. So, but you'll see that in there. However, just inside the door here, you'll see a stairway and an observation deck, and you can go up there. There's a series of aviation prints with a lot of pilot autographs up there. In fact, some big name pilot autographs up there as well, but then you can look down into the shop from there. But in here in the trainer hangar, we've got a variety of things in here. Right over here is non-military that just arrived this summer, and that is our Yellowstone touring bus. It's a 1937 touring bus that was actually used until the early 70s at Yellowstone. Many of the parks did cooperate with the military during that time in some training and so on, but obviously it's not a military vehicle. But it's cool to have it here. Like, as I mentioned, it just came this summer, but Granite Falls is actually right in the middle of what's known as the Yellowstone Trail. So it's a perfect fit for us here as well. And like other things out here, general rule of thumb is if the wheels are touching the ground, it's operational, whether it's vehicles or aircraft. So our planes fly, vehicles drive. Some are not operating as often as others, but our planes are airworthy. We do have one pre-World War II aircraft, and that's our JN-4 over here, our Jenny. That would have been a World War I era trainer for Army and Navy. Those were the first type of mass-produced planes in the U.S. So this one hasn't been out for a while, but it is considered airworthy. We do, though, out here have 4 primary trainers, 3 of which you're going to see in here. Our PT-22, our PT-26 back here, and over in the corner the PT-17, also known as the Stearman. We have a PT-19 that happens to be over in the bomber hangar right now that you will see. You will notice that a few may have cowlings off, things like that. There's a few that we're doing some maintenance on right now, but otherwise they do fly. I've actually flown in our BT and our SNJ, so we're not making this up when you see that. Our glider up here, the big green monster without the skin on the side, was not used during that time because those were a one-time usage. They had the unfortunate nickname flying coffins due to the high casualty rate. They were towed into the air by a larger aircraft, most commonly a C-47 when a large cargo transport like that. But they were used in carrying troops. They could carry vehicles such as a dozer or a jeep, or they could carry supplies as well. To load larger loads such as vehicles, the cockpit would actually come up in front and they would load from the front. We usually remind, especially Minnesota people, gliders were the only kind of aircraft built in Minnesota during World War II, built in the cities. So Midwest connection here with these. Michigan had the highest number produced, over 4,000 were produced there. And by the way, if you're ever traveling up in the UP in Iron Mountain, Michigan, there is a glider museum up there, which we would highly recommend visiting that as well. But you'll see a lot of information on the side over there. And also, by the way, gliders were used in both the European and Pacific theaters. So sometimes people just associate them with Normandy. However, used in all areas of the war. Even the Germans had gliders as early as 1940 as well. When you are ready to leave this hangar, you'll go down to the corner down there, diagonally to the right is the door. You'll go by the Link Trainer, which is an early flight simulator. Pilots use those in gaining their instrument rating as well. And then, as I mentioned, connected to this, and you'll see the entrance area, the maintenance hangar is right there. But you'll see the glass doors to get out, and you'll go across the ramp area out here. Sorry, I got to send you back out in the cold again, but the hangars are heated. The fighter hangar is on the left by the flagpole. To the right of that's the bomber hangar, and the Navy hangar is at the far right. These three all have our Stars and Bar logo on them, so you can identify. You'll actually be looping through the hangars. In the fighter hangar right now, there's 4 fighters in there. One of our Mustangs, our P-40 is in there, our P-38 Lightning, and our P-47 Thunderbolt is in there. We have an M4 Sherman tank in there. Incredible murals on the walls done by Dave Reiser. He's an artist from Nebraska, so you'll see those, and he's done artwork throughout, and in fact some of our the Navy artwork in there, he did that also. The D-Day exhibit at the far end is a beautiful sculpture, and it depicts men coming off a Higgins boat onto Utah Beach. The first man in that, although we don't know his position at the time, but the first man in that represents Ray Fagan, who's the father of the Fagan family that started this museum, actually in tribute to Ray. Ray fought at Utah Beach on D-Day, fought in Battle of the Bulge, was at Liberation of Paris, and so on. No longer with us, but did survive the war, and again, grateful to all of these guys that you see there. The sand in that exhibit is from Utah Beach. The French government allowed them to have that, so you'll see that there. The library on the 2nd floor is open. You can get there by stairs or elevator as well. Then the building between these two is a Quonset hut set up like a pilot briefing hut in England during that time. The control tower should be open today for you if you want to take the climb up there. Then in the bomber hangar, you'll go in this back door, and you'll see our Holocaust exhibit area. That boxcar that you see came from Germany, but was used in the transport to the camp. Probably, in my opinion, the most sobering exhibit that we've got out here, thinking about who might have been on there and what was likely to be happening to them soon after they arrived at the camps. We also have some artwork done by a woman who was the only one of her family to come out alive out of the camps. Judy Barron. She lived in the cities for many years, actually just passed away in February at age 95, but as a young girl was in the camps, and you can get some of her story there. There's buttons you can push to get some of her story there. The planes that we've got in there right now range from our largest to our smallest. Our B-25 Mitchell is in there, and our little Stinson L5. As I mentioned, our PT-19 is in there, and we have a Zero here. It's a Mitsubishi A6M3. One of only 5 in the world that are actually airworthy. So it's cool to see that in there as well. Wonderful window exhibits of memorabilia. There's vehicles in there. We now also have an M3 Stewart tank that you'll see in there. Our half-tracks in there. We have a Jeep that General Bradley used at Omaha Beach, loaded with exhibits. There is a small theater in there, and we are looping some DVD about the painting, about Chad Hill, who painted our nose art on our P-47, which, by the way, we recreated the nose art on our P-47 in honor of a Minnesota man who was from Ortonville, who flew P-47s, and that was his nose art and name on there. It's Chief Sky Yuma, too. That was what Buchholz used on his plane. So again, just amazing things to see in here. And then the Navy hangar, which is our most recently built museum. We're coming up on the anniversary of that opening. December 7th in 2023 was the day we officially opened that. First plane that you see in there is the one out here that Fagans do not own, that's not part of the Fagans collection. That's an F-4U Corsair, belongs to the Beck family, and it's on loan to us out here for a while. So we're pretty excited to have that here. But over in the corner, you'll see our most recently restored aircraft. And we're really excited about this. This was a 17-year project. And it's an SB-2C5 Helldiver, a Navy dive bomber. We test flew that July 22nd and actually the next day they took it over to Oshkosh. Did win some awards with that as well. So you're going to see that finished product there. Again, when we test flew that, it became second one in the world. There is now one more. A group in Colorado restored theirs. So that is one of only 3 in the world that's actually airworthy.
Wow.
Then our Wildcat is in there. Ours is an FM2 variant to the F4F that you'll see. The whole back wall in the Navy hangar is an LED screen, and we've been showing some film footage of the original Yorktown. So you'll see that in there, some ship life, there's some combat footage on there, and so on. The idea of the Navy hangar is the idea of an aircraft carrier, the Essex, in particular with that. So that gives you somewhat of a rundown of what you're going to see. If you have questions about anything, just let us know. Glad you came to visit on this nice cold day. So, but feel free, and again, as a reminder, take pictures of anything that you'd like. No restrictions at all on pictures. The main restriction is not touching the aircraft and so on. So, glad you're here. Enjoy.
Thank you. The Clark Airborne Bulldozer. There's the transport glider. It's a big glider. There's one crashed. Here's the other wing for it. There's the inside of the transport. Not much to it for a glider. There's a BT-13A Valiant. The PT-26A Cornell. The glider still.
Using the vacuum technology from automatic pianos and organs.
There's the Link trainer. BT-13A again. Check out that engine. It looked like they got a little bit of a leak. There's another Boeing Stearman. U.S. Army PT-17, model 75. We're now in the maintenance shop. They're got a few they're working on. We're We're now in the Navy hangar. .20mm cannon. Captain Blake Middleton. I know that name. FM2 Grumman Wildcat. Pretty blue. Some large airplanes here today. What a beautiful museum. If you ever get a chance to come here, you should show up and take part. Some great World War II history here. The bomb loader. U.S. Navy Air Station. So they pushed the plane out. Troop transport, USS CV-9. U.S. Navy Air Station Ford Island. Not much to them. There's your bomber, dude. Not a big space to be sitting. Ford GPW. Some Japanese warm weather pilot, warm weather coat jacket pilot. MK6 depth charge. They drop into the ocean. Be a gun on the ship. Does not say what kind. This is shells. Go right in there. Here's a bird's eye view of the Navy hangar. Me and the mannequin hanging out, looking, making sure everybody's doing their job down there. World War II USS Essex aircraft. They destroyed 1,564 in the air, 745 by ship batteries, 33 on the ground. I'll let you read that. Sunk a carrier, 6 destroyers, 1 sub, 92 auxiliaries. That's awesome. The P-47 Thunderbolt. That was his original painting. Chief Ski-U-Ma. It's an awesome plane. Somebody is up shining her up today. These are the fighter jets. Beautiful mural on the walls. The Lockheed P-38 Lightning. Scat 3. Lieutenant Holds. Must have been the pilot. It's an Allison V1710 V12. Look at that beautiful engine. Looks like a fuel tank of some sort. There's your bomber. There's the bomber hangar. Oh no, that must be where the wheel comes up. Sorry. Example of World War II radio equipment. Got a Curtiss propeller. There's a landing craft from D-Day at Utah Beach, June 6, 1944, 6:30 a.m. They said the sand is actually from Utah Beach. The French government allowed them to take it. Ford GPA Jeep, or as we like to call them, the duck boat. Carbine. full-size tank from World War II. That's awesome.
I went to see if there was any stuff. I think there was one pink.
The M4 Sherman. There's the shells. What a beautiful little car. It's an MG. Needs to be dusted. P40K10. Must be the original paint job on it. It's gotta be the PT-47, right? And all the aircraft on the ground still run, still fly. P-51. P-51D. Colonel Clarence E. Bud Anderson, 363rd Fighter Squadron, the Oxford Boys, or Yoxford. Briefing room. The radio room. Calibration tables. The Hindenburg blown up. They even got a picture of how to identify warplanes. Great Britain, Germany, Japan, U.S. Army tank here, refueling truck for airplanes. They have a gunnery compartment. Must be German. I don't think we can get in there. We're gonna try though. Oh, and yeah, no. Nope. They have a gunnery compartment. Must be German. Don't think we can get in there. We're gonna try though. Oh, and yeah, no. Nope. Here's a boxcar from the Holocaust. A boxcar that was used to transport the Jewish people. Pretty sobering. Pretty sad. The bomb cradle. That's where they put all the bombs. Another army transport truck. Old man. (1940) General Motors. Deuce and a half. Red Ball Highway. Stay on the ball. Keep 'em rolling. Must be a General Electric. Wow. Imagine that light being on. There's the generator for the light. There's a ball turret off an airplane. Horse-drawn wagons return to duty on the home front. Got the Army Jeep. They got lots of displays. Well worth the trip. We got some mementos from the war. Here's a German Luger. Some medals, flag, cameras, knives, creepy doll. Here's their ambulance. Oh, kind of hard to see in there. There's a P-19 Cornell. platform not to exceed 200 pounds. Ow. L5B Sentinel. Stinson L5B. Recovery and restoration. Must be a 0. Yep, there's a Japanese red dot. Aircraft carriers. There's some mementos from the Japanese. Got some money in there. Infantry rifle with a bayonet. Captured flag. Island hopping. Doolittle's Raid. You know anything about World War II history, you know about the Doolittle's Raid. Corporal Ward Tanner. He must have drove this thing. Look at how thick that steel is. You can see it. Hard to see it, but it's a 1944 white M16 half-track. General Omar Bradley's William B. Jeep. He used it during D-Day. The M3 Stuart, U.S. light tank. Here's where he sat. It's a tiny little area to be sitting. Radio control area, extra parts. It's pretty cool. Left vertical stabilizer for a BF-110. Early Battle of Britain. That one is not flyable. Another Jeep. It's got the keys in it. Should we take it for a spin? They do not have dual directionals. The B-25 Mitchell paper doll. Here's where your gunner sat. That is a German warplane hanging. And there's your cockpit of the B-25. Wow. So I have to say, this is a museum you must check out.